Hey everybody, what's going on? Sitting in my car right now, on the way to the bank. Yesterday I did something I really didn't think I was going to do, but went over to my music store that's pretty close to my house, and got rid of my Ibanez semi-hollow body guitar that I just got not too long ago. Really wasn't playing it all that much. Not my style of a guitar. I mean, it's sounds good. It's got great fucking action, great pickup sound combination that they use as far as the three-way switch that they have on the neck pickup that kind of adjusts the I guess throwing it off phase and shit like that. It's got a great tone to it. Just not my style. You know, it's like me playing an acoustic guitar. It's just not me. I mean, that semi-hollow body was big, bulky, and that's something that I really got into. I don't even know why I actually bought it, but I don't know. So I brought it over to the music store by my house and ended up talking with the guy over there. And, I told him, I says, I just got it probably about not even a year ago. And with the amount of dust that was on the guitar case, you could tell that I haven't touched it. So I told him, I says, well, make me an offer on it. If I like it, I'll sell it to you. If not, we'll see what we can do. So we shot the shit a little bit, and he did some research online on it and shit like that. And I brought the receipt of how much I paid for it new. So I told him, I says, I know it's used, but it's in fucking perfect goddamn condition. There isn't a scratch, mark, fingerprint, anything. I kind of wiped it down a little bit before I brought it over there, and he took a look at it. So today I'm off to the bank, and kind of happy for what he offered. Almost was the amount that I paid for it, minus a couple $100. So I'm kind of happy for that. Man, it's fucking starting to snow. So today, like I said, off to the bank. It's kind of nice when you got something that somebody else wants and keep it in good condition. Resale value of it is pretty damn good. So we got to shooting the shit, and this is the same guy that I brought the guitar that I built, the Dead Man, and he offered me like $300 for it. And I told him no, because I kind of figured that $300 was going to be too little. Number one, for the artwork and everything I've done to it. Also, he's going to go put it back on his shelf, and he's going to charge more for it. So I know that's what he was going to do. So I told him, I says, it's on eBay right now, because he asked me about it. And he asked, well, how much, you got it for on eBay? And I told him. And he's like, yeah, that's about what I would sell it for. So I told him, I says, so you were planning to put it up, on your shelf after you got it from me. He says, yeah, he's like, I don't really need any more guitars, he says, but, that's kind of an eye catcher, and, it'd be worth having around the store. And I says, oh, okay. So he was asking me, he says, I know you've been building kit guitars, but what are you trying to do? So I told him, I says, well, I want to start building. These kit guitars were basically kind of like a practice thing to get to know how everything is, fix the fuck-ups, make them right. He says, okay. And we started getting on to about, some of the work that I've been doing and how I've been doing it. And he's like, well, you need to stop calling them kit guitars. He says, these are a one-off custom. There isn't another one like it. There won't be another one like it unless you make duplicates. I says, yeah, I know, but he's like, no. He says that, you're using the neck and the body, but, scrapping everything else that comes with it. I says, well, not everything else. If the bridge is decent, I'll use that. If the tuners are decent, I'll use them too. Pickups I'll replace. You know, if the tuners are crap, I'll replace them. Controls, if they're crap, I'll replace them. He says, yeah, but there's still a one-off custom. You gotta stop calling them a kick guitar. I said, well, that's where they come from. He says, yeah, but people can buy a body and a neck and build off that as well. He says, yeah, that's true. And you don't see them calling it a kick guitar. I says, that's true. And he keeps saying that I'm selling myself short as far as, you know, how much I'm selling these guitars for because of the Angel guitar, you know, the one with the stained glass. I showed him, I didn't bring that guitar over there, but I showed him pictures of it a while back. And I told him how much, he asked how much I sold it for, and I told him. And he's like, yeah, you can't do that. I says, yeah, I know. But again, that's where the whole, you know, kick guitar body comes in. Even though I did all the artwork and stuff like that, it's, you know, to me, it's still a kick guitar. And he's telling me, don't do that. It's okay. So he's like, well, are you really serious about, you know, getting into the guitar builds? And so I says, well, you've seen what I've been doing. I says, yeah, I really want to get into it and start building from scratch. So he's like, well, have you ever thought about where you're going to buy, you know, your lumber from and shit like that? I says, StewMac. All right. And he's like, no, don't buy StewMac. He says they're overpriced, you know, for what they want. It's just, you know, their tools, everything. He's like, if you need something and you don't mind paying the extra money, then, you know, they're there. But if you could hold off, you know, get it from someplace else. Plus, StewMac is more of a, you know, somebody else is making it. StewMac is just putting their label on it, you know. So, whatever, they're branding. I move my hand. I'm using my hand to hold my phone. My fingers are getting a cramp. But anyways, so we got to talking a little bit more about this shit, and he starts telling me that there's a lumber yard that's kind of close by, and that's where a lot of the people who do build guitars, and he says there's not very many around here. That's where they get their wood. It's all specialty woods and stuff, and it's reasonably priced. It's a lot of the woodworkers, the custom woodworker guys, they go there to buy wood. And they got everything that fucking, you know, one of the names that Will Galvin fucking mentioned as far as what he built, the Coco whatever. They got that shit. They got that, was it Bloodwood or something like that, where it looks like it's purple. And I says, oh yeah, you know, somebody that I know on YouTube built a neck using that as the fretboard. He says, yeah. He's like, you don't want to build a body with that shit. It's going to be very heavy. And I says, oh, okay. So he was asking me about parts and shit, and I told him, I says, well, I've been coming over here and picking up some parts that I need now. I says, otherwise I've been ordering this shit online. And he's like, well, who have you been ordering from? So I've been telling him eBay and, you know, shit like that. And he's like, you know, stop doing that. He's like, a lot of that stuff is crap. You don't know where it came from. Unless it's got some type of branding on it, you know, you don't know. Hold on, I gotta get something to drink. I already told a few people this story, and I kind of gave them the quick version of it, so this is going to be the long version of it. So we got to talking and shit, and he's telling me about All Parts, and I says, yeah, I know who All Parts is and stuff. And, you know, I told him that I bought from Guitar Fetish, and he's like, no. He says, that's just as bad as buying off of eBay. So we went online, and he showed me... because I told him, I says, I wasn't going to build the necks. I says, I'll probably start off buying them. And he's like, well, do you have anybody in mind? I says, well, you know, I know of Warmouth or whatever they call themselves. I says, you know, they're pretty reasonable and decent necks. He says, no, they're very good. So he brought up All Parts website. And he says, he showed me a neck, and it's got the Fender headstock on here. He says, that's a Warmouth neck. He says, All Parts, it can sell, and Warmouth is the only one that is licensed to have a Fender headstock. I says, oh, okay. See, some of the shit I didn't know. So we're talking, he brings up, like, if you want to buy a body and shit like that, go through All Parts too, and he showed me, they only have like two different types of woods, blanks to build bodies of, but they got a bunch of bodies already pre-cut. he even said too, he says, these bodies are not bad. I says, well, Guitar Fetish has got some bodies, some of them are already finished and stuff like that. He says, yeah, don't trust that shit. He says it's garbage. He knew somebody who used to build guitars and used to buy a lot of shit from Guitar Fetish and stuff, and he had nothing but problems with Guitar Fetish and their products. So he's like telling me no. Plus, this guy here is a dealer for all parts. So he told me, he says, what are you working on now? And I show him pictures of what I'm doing, and I told him it's a Cozart guitar. He's like, what the fuck is a Cozart? I says, yeah, it's another one of those cheap fucking, $100 guitars or whatever. I says, but I'm making it better. So I show him pictures of it and stuff, and he's like, electronics-wise, what are you doing? I says, well, I got a friend who makes pickups and, makes his own guitars and shit, and he's going to wind some pickups for me for it. He says, okay. So I started mentioning a few people on YouTube and stuff, and he's like, who are those people? Never heard them before. And Galvin Guitars, a few of these guys, I directed them to Will's website and stuff like that. And he looked it over and shit like that at the website and stuff, and prices of the guitars, and it's like, yeah, okay. After that, we didn't talk anything about it that much anymore. But he was saying, well, go on the shelf, pick up what you need off the rack for the build that you're doing now. I says, okay, fine. So I picked up some pots, 3-way switch, a push and pull pot, a bone nut for the SOB guitar that I'm building now. The red, the one that I just sanded off the whole top and stained it red. He puts it in a plastic bag, and he says, here, this is for your build. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I already had cash in hand from the selling the guitar, so it didn't come out of that. So he tells me, if you need parts or anything else, go through all parts. He says, in fact, come over here, let me know what you need. I will give you what I pay for what's on that rack, not what you would pay going to their website or buying from them. I'm like, wow, thanks, man. He says, if you need anything, let me know. He says, you would have to wait, 3 to 5 days, whatever, business days, when you order your shit. He says, I get the shit next day. He says, I buy in bulk. He's like, I get it the next day. So if there's anything that you need special ordered from all parts or anything else, let me know. He says, I'll get it for you. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, okay, fuck. He's really wanting to fucking help me. He told me, he says, your work is fucking good. He says, you're not making a shit goddamn guitar. And even though it's a kit guitar body and neck, you're actually doing it the right way. So I was talking with him a little bit about it, and I told him, I says that, I kind of wanted to get in with you over here, doing repairs and shit. Like, he's like, I got, 2 guys over here that fucking do repairs and setups and stuff. He's like, and they're people that we know. I says, okay. Now, the problem with this is, well, not really a problem, but I knew the previous owners of that fucking music store, okay? I used to work for them when I was 17 years old. And the first guy, Rick, he passed away. He was actually the founder of Murphy's Music. Murphy was a little character that he kind of created and designed. And he passed away. So all was left was Ed. Ed was the tech guy. He's the one that showed me a lot of the stuff that I kind of forgot and then got back into it by watching everybody's YouTube videos. But he showed me a lot of shit. Ed passed away probably, I want to say 5 years ago or so. Now, when I got divorced and shit and I came back to Illinois, I saw that the music store was still open, and I went over there and found out that Ed still worked there. And I wanted to talk to Ed, see if he still remembered me or whatever. And he wasn't there at the time. So when I came back later on, that's when I found out he passed away. It was like that fast, that sudden. And I guess Rick, the guy who runs the place, he ended up talking with Ed about me, I guess, coming in and shit, and Ed remembered me. So I guess they had a long discussion or something like that. I don't know if that's the reason why this guy is wanting to help me now or what, but yeah, this is going to be pretty fucking interesting. Pretty fucking cool. So I'll do a little bit of an unbagging when I get back to the house as far as the parts and shit goes. But right now I'm on the road. Actually sitting in the bank parking lot right now, just waiting to go and make my deposit. So yeah, this is going to be pretty fucking cool. And I gotta say to everybody out there who has been kind of encouraging me to do what I'm doing, giving me the ideas, helping me out. You know, there's Fluid Focus, who is put in some very kind words as far as me doing the inlays and what I've been doing is some of the artwork on my guitars. Also willing to give me a hand as far as like templates and shit like that. Ken Boudreau, again, you know, another person who is said he'd give me a hand, whatever, you know, if I get stuck on something and stuff like that, he'd help me out. Andrew Allen, another guy. These are all great guys who basically want to give me a hand building, you know. And these are guys who've known me, followed me on YouTube. Yes or no, I don't know if they actually have, but they know me. And I really do appreciate everybody who has like kind of steered me in a direction of doing this and getting this shit done. You know, if you guys are being honest as far as like the oohs and the ahs of what I'm doing, that's great. If there's something that you don't like or something that you know, yeah, that kind of sucks as far as a guitar build goes, be honest about it and fucking tell me. You know, because what you guys think and what I put into it may be two different things, but maybe the same idea. But what I have in mind and what you have in mind might be different as well. And, you know, what you guys are giving me as far as input about what I'm doing just shows the interest level as far as, you know, how this is going to sell. If you guys think it's interesting, somebody else is going to think it's interesting and possibly want it. So that's kind of cool. And, you know, these guys that are building guitars and shit like that, fucking, you know, they do awesome work. And they know what they're doing. They've been doing it for fucking years. Unreal as far as the quality that these guys are putting out. You know, Ken Boudreau, Andrew Allen, Will Galvin, Fluid Focus. Those are just some of the guys that I kind of have talked to. Maybe not really know them personally, but the work that these guys do is fucking unreal. So again, thanks everybody for your guys' help, support. Now that I kind of have a foot in the door of getting things that I need to get this shit going, yeah, this is going to be fucking awesome. And yesterday I was talking with a few people about it and kind of like was all over the place with the story and was real my hands were shaking. I mean, I was so fucking excited to get a break like this. I'm not getting this shit for free. I'm still going to be paying for it, obviously, but you know, I'm getting it at what a dealer would get at his cost, not what I would get buying it off their website. So that's going to help out a lot. Anyways, you guys take it easy, have a good one, and behave yourselves. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks.